You break free from the safety of your eggshell, your tiny heart racing beneath your fragile body, barely strong enough to keep you alive. Your skin is paper thin, your bones like brittle twigs, and your sparse fluff offers little protection against the cold. Every breath feels like an effort, and your tiny frame trembles under the weight of your own vulnerability. Sounds like a new beginning? Wrong. You're born weak, blind, and vulnerable, with no choice but to rely on your mother in a cold, unforgiving nest. Below, predators wait for their chance, each with their own deadly methods. Snakes slither silently up the tree, their cold eyes fixed on the nest. Raccoons, cunning and persistent, claw at the base, searching for a way to climb. Hawks circle above, their sharp talons poised to strike the moment a chick strays too far. Even the wind carries the ominous cause of crows. The forest teems with dangers, each one more relentless than the last, and they're all waiting for a single mistake. The rustling leaves may seem soothing, but they carry a constant threat, a reminder that one wrong move could be your last. And your mother? Even she knows her sharp talons and keen eyes can't protect you forever. Every flap of her wings as she hunts leaves you and your siblings exposed, vulnerable to the dangers lurking in the shadows. Your siblings, already in competition, jostle for position, each one vying for warmth and attention. The nest, meant to be your safe haven, feels more like a precarious balancing act, a tiny prison high above the forest floor, where survival is never guaranteed. You're surrounded by thin twigs that could give way at any moment, and the drop below is a death sentence. You don't cry because it's comforting. You cry because you're terrified that this fragile balance won't hold long enough for you to grow. Life in the nest isn't cozy, it's brutal. The sharp peck of a sibling's beak against your tender skin feels like a warning. Every scrap of food is worth fighting for. You're not just enduring hunger, you're enduring the pain of being shoved, pecked, and outcompeted, all while the nest sways precariously with each gust of wind. The smells of damp feathers and regurgitated prey mix with the metallic tang of blood from minor injuries. Every sense is overwhelmed, every moment a reminder that survival in this tiny battleground is a war of attrition. Your older sibling isn't just bigger, they're ruthless. Every meal is a battle, and if you're too slow, you starve. Weak chicks don't last long here. The mother returns with food, her sharp beak tearing a small mouse into pieces. You chirp desperately, but your older sibling snatches the largest portion, pecking at you to keep you in line. Your hunger grows unbearable, a gnawing ache that sharpens your desperation. You stretch your neck as far as it can go, straining to get even a tiny morsel, but more often than not, you're left with nothing. Only the strong survive, and the weak. They simply vanish, their fragile bodies discarded like yesterday's scraps. This is survival of the fittest, and there's no room for second chances. By your third week, the nest becomes a prison. Your down begins to shed, replaced by awkward patches of feathers. Your talons, once soft and almost useless, begin to harden and sharpen, giving you the grip you need for survival. One day, curiosity forces you to hop onto a nearby branch, wobbling as the ground below seems to beckon. This is the branching stage, your first step into a world that seems determined to break you. Every sound, every movement feels like a potential threat. The wind shakes the branches, and you cling tightly, your small talons barely gripping the bark. Soon, the dreaded moment arrives, your first flight. It's not graceful, it's a frantic, desperate flapping that barely keeps you aloft. You glide awkwardly to a lower branch, your heart pounding as a fox prowls below, its hungry eyes tracking your every move. Survival feels like a cruel joke. You've escaped one danger only to face another. As you fledge, your parents teach you to hunt, but the lessons are unforgiving. You swoop clumsily, scaring off prey before you even get close. Your empty stomach gnaws at you, a painful reminder that failure isn't just disappointing, it's deadly. Each failed hunt leaves you weaker, more desperate. Silent flight, your supposed advantage, seems useless when every instinct screams that you're not fast or strong enough to survive. The juvenile stage brings new challenges. Your parents stop feeding you, forcing you to fend for yourself. The forest, once a training ground, becomes a battlefield. Predators like hawks and foxes lurk in every shadow, and even rival owls see you as competition. Every day you're forced to rely on your dulling instincts, your sharp hearing barely enough to catch the faintest sound of scurrying prey beneath snow-covered ground. Hunger is your constant companion, and every missed opportunity brings you closer to starvation. Leaving your birthplace doesn't bring freedom, it brings more hardship. You must claim a territory, but every patch of forest is fiercely contested. You hoot to announce your presence, only to be met with defiant cries from other owls. Talons clash in midair, feathers scatter, and each fight leaves you battered. Winning a territory means survival, but the cost is high. Your body bears the scars of countless battles, and each victory feels hollow as the struggles never truly end. Seasons pass, and the challenges only grow harsher. Winter strips the forest of prey, forcing you to rely on your sharp hearing to detect the faintest rustle beneath layers of snow. Your talons stiffen in the biting cold, and every failed hunt takes its toll. Hunger sharpens your desperation, and you risk injury with every risky swoop. Even when you catch prey, it's rarely enough to sustain your energy. The forest seems to conspire against you, its harsh winds and bitter cold sapping what little strength you have left. As spring comes closer, it's time to find yourself a mate. But even this is fraught with hardship. As a male, you perform elaborate displays, hooting and offering food, hoping to prove your worth. Female owls are highly selective, evaluating not only your display, but also your ability to provide and the quality of your territory. If you succeed, the bond brings temporary comfort, but raising a brood is a grueling test. Every moment is spent protecting your vulnerable chicks from the same dangers you barely survived. Snakes, raccoons, hawks, all return, hungrier than ever. You and your mate take turns hunting and guarding, but the constant vigilance wears you down. Owls are fiercely protective of their young, often prioritizing their chicks' survival over their own. It's not uncommon for parents to starve themselves to ensure their young are fed. Even the strongest parents can't save every chick, and losses are inevitable. Through the years, human threats compound your struggles. Roads slice through your hunting grounds, and artificial lights disrupt your nocturnal patterns. Each day brings new challenges. Deforestation robs you of nesting sites, while power lines and vehicles pose deadly risks. You attempt to adapt, but the relentless encroachment of human activity shrinks your world. The once abundant forest becomes a fragmented maze, and every flight carries the risk of collision or exposure. As you age, your body betrays you. Your once sharp talons grow dull, and your wings lose their strength. Hunting, once instinctual, becomes a laborious task. Your vision blurs, and your hearing falters, leaving you vulnerable. Younger, stronger owls push you out of prime hunting grounds, and every day feels like a losing battle. Even the simplest tasks drain you, and the forest, once a place of possibility, becomes an unforgiving gauntlet. Weak and exhausted, you retreat to a secluded branch, the place that once felt safe, but now only echoes with isolation. Patient predators circle beneath, their instincts sharper than yours have become. In the fading light, you close your eyes, not from peace, but from the exhaustion of a life spent surviving.